All right, now they're excited. Welcome to the show, Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell, building damage experts. Every week we have a new show for you. Today we're excited to have a brand new show for you today, raising the roof on insurance claims process there as a sales guy working in this market today. It's a different market. We're going to talk to you about that today on the show here on Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell, our special guest and our in-house counsel here on the show, attorney Hans Kennon with Kennon Law Group. What's going on?
Oh, I'm glad to be here. As many of you may know by now, I've decided to open my own practice specializing in first-party insurance and everything else that that people may have a need for. I found that instead of shrinking the market for helping people with their own insurance claims, I thought that's something I should focus on even more. So broke away. That's the work I'm going to typically specialize in. Do a lot of roofing, homeowners claims, whatever it may be, and I think that's what my calling was. Did it for 28 years. Want to keep doing it.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to talk about this on the show. We have the perfect setup here to really inform the contractors, the roofers of the best sales techniques to help out the consumer. That's really what it's about. It's a happy consumer. I mean, if you think about the scenario, right? I mean, you know, there are two different types of roof sales that they look for, right? The retail roof,
right?
That's when the homeowner has money in hand and says, I know I need to replace this roof. I'm going shopping. And they go out and they shop the best roofer and they say, hey, I've got this money, and they're replacing the roof. No, you know, it's like they just need it to. It's at the end of the life and the age and they need to replace it, maybe selling the house, whatever. They're doing it. It's a retail purchase. So there's that form, so to speak, of sales. And those are what the big roofers will show up to and give their best estimate, best presentation, the longest service warranty, and those types of things, right? And then there's another type, and that's your re-roofs of the world. It's when a storm comes by neighborhoods where folks were not planning to replace the roof anytime soon.
Or perhaps didn't even need to.
Right. There wasn't a need to. Maybe it's 5, 10, 15 years old on a 30-year roof, and a bad hailstorm comes by, a crazy weather event, wind event, tornado, hurricane, especially down in Southwest Florida. Hurricane Ian, Category 5, went over the southwest corridor of Florida, did a lot of damage, created a lot of space for those types of claims. And so when you're not saving up for that, how are you as a sales rep, how are you going to be able to retain that job? And we talked to several of the roofers that we've had here over the years, and it's great to hear how they pitch it and how they're able to help the consumers even when they don't have money in hand, even in the re-roof opportunities when they get there and they don't offer that type of service in-house, meaning like they can't help the consumer outside of, hey, I'll give you the best estimate, knock on your door, here's the best estimate that I have. It might be cheaper than everybody else, but the homeowner still doesn't have the money. A lot of roofers are now talking about, hey, let's get them financed. We now work with these third-party finance companies.
Sure.
We can get them financed within 5 minutes, or a decision within 5 minutes being in their right there in their home after the estimate is presented, which is a very nice selling feature to the homeowner. So, okay, I do need the roof. I can't afford it. Maybe it's nothing down, and maybe 6 months, same as cash, or 1 year, same as cash, or small APR. Well, there's a step further on that, especially when the homeowner is just very leery about that. How can you really get them to go over that step of saying, oh, man, I really wasn't saving up for this. I really don't have the money to. I probably could try to finance it, but again, like, I don't have the budget for this.
Right. Especially
a budget for years and years to pay this off, because roofs are expensive these days. So offering the service of saying, not only can we help you as a roofing consultant, knock on the door, give them a best estimate. You may have a big tile roof, might be 60, 70,000, something you're not saving up for, but it was a storm that went over your home that should be covered, and I say should, under your policy of insurance, right? The roofer helps get the claim submitted with the homeowner by giving the estimates, pointing out the damage. Now, if you get it denied, you get a letter of denial from your insurance company, a lot of people just throw their hands up.
Right.
I mean, a lot of the roofers that we talk to, and you know this, Hans, a lot of times they say, and we ask them too. We ask them, we say, well, what do you do with those ones? And they say, well, we don't do anything with them.
we say we can't help them and say thank you for calling.
Right. And so you left there with a homeowner that doesn't know what to do, that had a storm come over their home, and now they have to replace the roof, and they had adequate insurance.
Right.
But they got a denial and they could have, in this scenario, they had a bad adjuster, meaning an adjuster that just came out, already had their marching orders. Like we saw this, and it's in the newspaper. It's in the Times. I'm not making this stuff up. You can look it up. UPC had my friend and an attorney, John Tolley, was doing depositions under this for this one insured, and had the adjuster for UPC. It was a third-party adjuster, a TPA, that was hired by the insurer, UPC, who is now no longer in the state of Florida, gave everything over to FIGA. Well, they were on a deposition stating that it was like that guy that says, "How many times have you wrongfully denied a claim?" Well, was it? Well, I'm not sure. It was so many. Was it over 100? Yes. It was over 200. Yes. It was like one of those kind of things. Well, he got up and he says, "Well, is it over 100?" He's like, "Yes." He goes, "So over 100 times that he wrongfully denied a roof claim under UPC insurance because they told him to deny everything Hurricane Irma." And so
you can talk about
that's
money.
What happens if you get one of those types of adjusters, right? Their marching orders were already said before they came out to deny your claim. Let's say in that respect, right? You got wrongfully denied. You throw your hands up as an insured, you get this letter of denial, says, "Oh, well, I can't afford the roof." And a roofer just came out, gave me a best estimate, and they tried their best. They met the adjuster and everything like that. They still got a denial. They said, "Well, the damage didn't happen." They boom. What are you going to do? So, and again, roofers are getting more, they're getting creative. They're saying, "Well, we work with the finance company. We get you financed. At least that's better than nothing. Let me get your roof over your head before the next storm comes out." Because now in the state of Florida, you only have 18 months to supplement. So you have 18 months to get it done, or you have to file a new claim, or if new damage comes in, it's going to be a problem. So what you do as a roofing consultant, you not only you offer the financing, say, "Listen, we can do the $60,000 roof for you, and we can put it on in the next couple of weeks whenever material is available. You will have to finance it, but let's take it one step further to make you feel a little bit better. We're going to kick it over to the Kennon Law Firm, the Kennon Law Group. You're going to call them at 407-464-HANS, and you're going to send all that information over to them, and they're going to get the claim going for you or resubmitted for you.
Right.
And there's a chance that they're going to get it done either pre-suit, or they may have to do it in litigation, but you're going to get reimbursed.
Yeah.
What do you think about that now, homeowner?
Well, I think homeowners, I think homeowners are always concerned about legal. In all honesty, we do our best to try to, we talk to everybody, want to explain what the process is, and let them know that the reason they have the insurance is for this very reason. They shouldn't have to worry, well, I didn't save the money, or I should have saved the money. The reality is you make your premium payments every month or every year, depending on how you pay that premium. And if you have a loss that is sufficient to be over the deductible, which is something you have to always consider, then that's what the coverage is there for. And as we talked about before, especially hurricane claims don't count against you. They're not strikes against you for making claims, as other claims that the insurer can consider. So from that perspective, if you have sufficient damage, you met with the roofer who's explained it to you and showed it to you. I mean, I would tell any homeowner, don't just let the guy come down and go, "You got some damage." Have him tell you where it is. Have him show you where it is. They should be chalking up the roof with chalk to show you what's going on the roof, to give you an idea of what's happening and make a decision. Certainly, the roofer is not allowed to, and not supposed to under the statutes, to essentially coerce you into making a claim. But certainly, if you believe that you have damage to your roof, and he suggests that you might want to make a claim, that's completely reasonable, and it's still within your discretion to do so. But we always say is, if 10 people make claims and 5 get denied, usually all 5 of them just go, "Well, we tried." The other 5 go, "I don't know about that." And 2 or 3 of them may ask for a reinspection. It normally brings out an engineer who will then tell them there's no storm-related damage. And I go, "Well, we tried. It was an engineer." And a couple people left go, "Well, we got denied. Then they sent out an engineer. I don't think that's right." And they're the ones who end up usually making their way to my door, and usually we're able to help them get their whatever their damage is, get it paid for, get them back to pre-loss condition. But the insurers know how many people are not going to contest the claim. They know out of every 10 decision letters what's going to happen based on actuarials and based on numbers and numbers of claims. They can pretty much figure out what percentage is going to come back against them. And that's one way they can estimate their profit and what the money they're going to make, because they go, "Okay, well, if 10 people give us their money and only 2 people complain about it, that's still typically going to be a net positive for the insurer.
It sure is. And they they play the numbers all the time, delay, deny, defend. And it's becoming more of a regular. I mean, insurance companies are getting more. I use the word emboldened is the term I really
like to use.
And
actually, and to your point, sorry about that. There was I took a deposition a couple of weeks ago where the adjuster said, well, we were having a discussion about the estimate that he wrote. And he said, I said, well, sir, but in the letter, it says that there was damage found to the roof, but there's nothing in your estimate. And he said, well, I submitted the estimate and Universal sent it back and told me to take any roof reference out of the estimate. And I went, what?
Any reasoning behind that?
And he said, any reason why? Nope. I was told to take any reference to roof damage out of my estimate. So, excellent sound effect there, Joe. That's a perfect sound effect for this moment. So we have a motion pending to try to obtain the original estimate and find out what it says, because I've like Mr. Tolley had in some of those cases. Of all the depots I've taken, thousands of depositions, this is really the first one where an adjuster, a third-party adjuster, like we talked about in other cases with UPC, literally said, I submitted it and they sent it back and told me to take the roof out of the estimate completely.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll see where that one goes. So we got some stuff pending in that case.
Wow.
But
hope
there you go.
Filed a CRN on this one.
We did. And there's an example then, again, of exactly what you talked about, where insurers are really unfairly dictating the conduct of what are supposed to be independent adjusters. Whether they're independent or not is a topic for another day. But they still are supposed to put some independence into their determination. In this case, literally the guy wrote for some part of the roof, but then was told to take out any reference to the roof at all.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And this is the environment that we're living in today. Most of the AOB roofing companies, the assignment and benefit roofing companies, the ones that worked on insurance proceeds only or specialize in that niche category, has greatly opened up what they're offering now. Now we're offering financing, we're doing retail roofs, we're doing everything different because of the market that we see now. The insurance companies were just wrongfully denying roof claims or stating there was wear and tear. There's mechanical, what do they call them?
Well, they talk about mechanical damage, wear and tear, marring, just all the tree damage,
foot traffic,
all that stuff. And I think foot traffic's great because I just envision people just walking all over the roof just all day long.
Right. Just hey, we got nothing else better to do. Let's go take a walk. And so that is also great. I mean, we had one that was an elderly lady, and they used that on because we're an engineering firm at Air Quality Assessors. We do the engineering stuff, and we literally just shake our head. We'll have one engineering opinion that says the exact opposite of another engineering opinion. And I don't know how those guys who only work for insurance companies, how they sleep at night, and or how with a straight face that they can say that, what was it, thermal radiation broke the roof here in the state of Florida. Well,
I mean, roofing, tile cases are especially prevalent. And what do they say? Thermal expansion and contraction.
Right.
And which means literally that the concrete is expanding and contracting
all day long
to such a degree that it actually literally cracks under its own stress. Joe's on it today. Our producer Joe has the sound effects down. And I remember saying to a guy, I said, well, how much does concrete shrink or expand in any 24-hour period? And he's like, well, it's a very small amount. I said, well, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
But you're the engineer. How much does tile contract or expand in any 24-hour? And he literally didn't know. He just said, well, that's one reason why they break. And I said, sir, I've seen sidewalks. I mean, I'm getting old. I've seen sidewalks last 30, 40, 50 years. Some crack, some don't. But they usually I don't think they normally crack from thermal expansion.
Right.
They may crack from tree roots. They may crack from a torquing, a change of position of the concrete itself.
Yeah, jackhammering.
I mean, a lot of things. But just being is not normally a basis for that to expand and contract. So, but one of the primary defenses in that case was that basically, to me, it was like the tile was breathing, like it was like, and expanded and it contracted, and I just, which I think is just
like
funny.
Plexiglass or something, and it's amazing to me. And I brought up thermal radiation because I think it's funny. It's like literally sunshine breaks the roof. Thermal expansion is that movement from a big temperature swing from the morning to the afternoon. That could be one way that it would make it thermally expand, so to speak.
Right.
We don't have those situations here in Florida, nor do roofing suppliers. I'm pretty sure that they know they're living in a sunshine state, so they're not going to produce materials that just flake out in the next 10 years if they have a 30-year warranty on it. So,
well, I mean, even think about up north, even where it only gets colder. I mean, it's not like you go to New York City and the sidewalks are exploding right into the air because of the change of temperature. So again, that's just some of the things that they say. And I think when you think about engineers, I've said this before, inherently people want to believe engineers. I mean, they sign and seal everything from a building to a bridge to even toys. I mean, just a lot of things that they put their seal on.
And even now in a forensic opinion, from a slip and fall to even today, looking at damaged buildings and how do we say is the with the best percentage of engineering, whether it be research, just so many tests of theories behind whatever it is, like the slip and fall. Could the ramp have been at a decline too much to where somebody's going to slip if you don't have this type of shoes or this type of grade on the slope. It is scary, right? Whether it's on a banana. Anyway, but this is an opinion, and that's what we're offering in these cases. But I can't understand how the insurance guys, and we've depoted, and I know you have on the other side's experts, and even asking them so many times and said, how many assignments have you gotten from the same insurance company? Well, okay, it's this many. Let's say 75, 100. It's okay. How many have you done with this company? Have you done for about 75 or 100? It's like, okay. So what percent? So you're telling me then that 100% of your jobs came from the same insurance company, and then if you do something different that they don't like, you're going to lose that business from that insurance company.
And you'd like to keep that business, wouldn't you, sir?
Right.
That's what it comes down to when you ask them, so what percentage of your work is for insurance companies? And most of those guys say 99, or they say 100, and that's all the work that they do. And again, in order to maintain those clients, there are certain opinions that they're expected to provide, similar to the situation we talked about with the adjuster, where the adjuster said that he was told to remove the roof from his estimate. That's the implicit understanding with, I believe, with many of the engineers who do the work for the insurers. But it's big business. It's big money. I remember I had a case some years ago I tried over in Tampa. And the insurer, I forget who it was now, it wasn't a big insurer, but they had paid Ralph Moon and those guys at Conestoga from those days. In 3 years, they paid him like $3 million. And I remember I read this interrogatory called a Bosher interrogatory in trial. And I said, please state the total amount of money. And I said it, and literally the jury was like, like they literally could not believe that this insurer had paid these guys $3 million. I think it was about $3 million. In the course of a few years to render these types of opinions. I mean, literally audibly, people gasped because they just couldn't believe that much money got spent. But that's how big a business it is. I mean, what we always tell clients, I told one yesterday, when an engineer shows up from the insurance company, your claim's getting denied.
Right.
I mean, that's not changing, and you can guarantee that's what's going to happen. But we're talking a little bit about roof sales process. Obviously, the way the statute is worded and the way it exists currently today, a part of it is don't be foolish. I mean, in all honesty, I mean, if you simply boil it down. Don't be foolish,
don't be sloppy, and don't offer anything of value in exchange for a roof claim here in the state of Florida.
It really, at the end of the day, it really is it. I mean,
you can't say free roof. You can't say no deductible. You can't say any of that stuff. Deductible can be paid at the end, right? Yep. So that's the way you get around it. You don't give me anything up front. The deductible has to be paid by you, homeowner, but it can come out at the end.
Correct.
Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, it is, in fact, unbelievably to some extent, it is a felony Right? I'm correct.
It is. It's a third-degree felony. $10,000 per occurrence fine.
So it's a felony in the state of Florida to either not pay or not collect the deductible. So you, as the homeowner, can't say he didn't ask me for it, and the roofer can't say, "Well, I forgot to ask." I mean, so either side can literally go to jail for non-payment of a roof deductible.
Yep.
And I was telling my clients, I'm like, this is when I talk about resolution of their claim. They have to pay the deductible. I say, you have to pay. I mean, no deals. No, I said, just, you got to write that check. That's because right. Literally, otherwise, should the state choose to pick that case to look into, they take deductibles very, very seriously here.
And that goes back to the sales consultant, right? I mean, I love that part of it, of going in there and saying, hey, listen, because a lot of times I don't want anybody knocking on my door, but if a storm came through the neighborhood, and I know these roofing companies, these guys have the materials and they're going back, door to door, and they're doing everybody else's roof in the neighborhood, I'll probably give them my business too, especially if they've got good references, they have insurance, all that other stuff I've double checked on them, looked them up, Better Business Bureau, all that kind of stuff, right? That I know that they're a good vendor. I would absolutely want them, and if I was the sales consultant, want to make them feel good. I'm saying, hey, homeowner, I know you didn't ask for this, but I can help you through this process at first, right? I can meet with the adjuster, show them the damage, everything that we see, right? And then if they go ahead and pay us for the roof, if there's any short pays, I can give them the estimate for any supplements. Like if I see any wood that's damaged after we lift up all the tiles or whatever it is, there might be damaged boards underneath. I'll get this sent as a supplement. I'll help you all the way through. You don't need to pay me any money up front, right? A lot of companies say, well, give me the deductible up front. Give me some cash flow going. Well, if you don't want to, you don't have to. You can say the deductible can be paid at the end. Right. I'll go all the way to that till they issue the payments and say it's a $500 deductible and it's $10,000 roof. Well, it's going to be $10,000 minus that. It's going to be on the statement at the end for you to pay that deductible. Yep. Right. Not to be all the time. I said, write the check. Like, don't say, well, I'm going to get a discount and then I'm going to put a yard sign in my yard and they're going to give me a credit for write the check. Oh, don't write anything less than your deductible whenever you do that. One thing we always look at too is, again, from a sales tactic, is you as the salesman, project manager, whoever it may be, you're certainly entitled by the statute to suggest or recommend to a homeowner that they should make an insurance claim. And the statute literally makes that distinction. Suggest or recommend is completely fine. Coercing or duress or any of those hard sales tactics are not. Right. In all honesty, that's not unfair. I mean, simply the codification by making it into a statute that says you can't browbeat someone into signing a contract for a roof is not unfair, but you are certainly allowed to, using your knowledge, your training, experience, to suggest or recommend that a roof claim be made based on the physical findings that project manager or inspector has seen. It's about options, right? Yeah. And you can definitely inform a homeowner of their options. It's simple. You offer, as a roofing consultant, you're going to offer that homeowner many different options. One of them is going to be, here's what my cash price is. You write a check, I put roof on. That's easy enough. Right? Step two is hey, there is a storm that went over. There is a storm date. It's a valid storm date. Yeah. You want your roof on right now. Cool. You can go ahead and pay me. It's what they call costs incurred. You're going to go ahead and write me a check. You're going to file the claim. Right. You're gonna give the insurance company 2 to 4 weeks to inspect the property. Yep. You're gonna get inspections done on your side, and you may or may not want to get Hans involved in the beginning. I would suggest a public adjuster or an attorney, along with your roofing company, right, to make sure that the claims package is turned in timely and 100% correct. That'll cut the time down in half. It should, right? And then you put the roof on and you get it reimbursed. Yep. Right. And so you're going, what does that mean? Well, that means you pay for the roof now, and they owe you what they call RCV, replacement cost value. The amount that you paid minus your deductible is what you're owed by the insurer if it's covered under the policy. A lot of ifs and things like that. And Hans, being an attorney, he can answer those questions for you. Make sure you get with him. I would suggest signing them up right away with Hans. He has, I think, and I don't want to speak for you, but you have different percentages because they did change the law to where if you do have to file suit, you do have to pay now. There used to be a prevailing party. Correct. Under the new law provision regarding homeowners property coverage went into effect December 16th of 2022. Any policies issued or renewed after that time, basically if you make a claim now,
the percentage, I'm doing a bad job here. After December 16th of 2022, you as a homeowner have to pay me a percentage of your recovery to assist you with this process. For 110 years before December 16th of 2022, if the insurer wrongfully denied or underpaid your claim, your insurer would pay me the fees and costs incurred, so you would get the full value of the policy. Now, we certainly work with people, and I do it every day to try to make sure they get whatever they need.
Right. And most of these, and this is how roofers need to understand, roofing consultants understand this. When they sign up with an attorney, it has a bigger, in my perspective, there's both, right? Because there's a value in having a public adjuster assist you, and there's a value in having an attorney assist you. Now, because of the laws, and they changed it to where you now have to pay, it may be cheaper this way to hire Hans up front. Now, there's a difference between what they call pre-suit percentage and when you're in suit percentage. Can you talk about that?
Sure. Under the contract approved by the Florida Supreme Court, there's essentially a couple of structures, but it is under the strictest of guidelines. It is 1/3 of the recovery plus cost pre-suit, and 40% in suit plus those costs. Now, in all candor, we typically do it for less than that because we try to make sure people are made whole. I don't think I sleep well at night knowing someone didn't get their roof fixed, but I made a couple extra bucks. So I guess it makes me a bad negotiator with my own client. But I'd rather see them have their house returned to a pre-loss condition. So we work with folks all the time regarding that aspect. But there are two different sets of structures. Again, the pre-suit side as well as the in-litigation side. In litigation, honestly, you pay a little more because there's more to be done. There's typically higher expenses. We try to keep those to a minimum. So we do whatever we can to help people get their house back to how it was.
All right. And I've heard you talk to other public adjusters, and if there is a public adjuster involved, you will actually take more of that, maybe 30 or 33 and 33rd or percent. I can't even say it. 33 and a third percent, or 30%. Let's just use
30. Yeah, I like 30.
Round even numbers, 30%, and you can split your fee with the public adjuster, or have him reduce his fee to 15%,
right,
and your fee is 15%.
Right. I've certainly helped with that before. If you have a public adjuster, because a lot of times people come to me and they say, well, who's going to pay the public adjuster? And I said, well, first thing is you hired him before you hired me, so it's your obligation. But even with that, we're willing to work with you and try to negotiate with the public adjuster. And then so you're not paying him a full fee or me a full fee. We try to make it so it's only really one fee by doing what you discussed, which is either reducing or combining those fees and trying to make it where the insured's doesn't feel like they're getting double dipped.
That's right. It makes it very simple. So you as a roofing claims consultant can discuss with the homeowner and say, listen, here's your options. Either you can fund it up front, or we have these options, finance options, and in which time the statute does state that you can recover if it is found that you have a valid claim, right, and they owe you for the money. Then they would also owe you for the interest on said loan, yep, for that roof. So you could get that roof reimbursed out the door, not having to pay a big upfront, right? So most roofing consultants now, they have this right in your door. They can sign you up and see in 5 minutes if you are approved to get the roof financed.
Yep.
And if so, you get the roof on in the next couple of weeks. Make sure you get your inspections done. Make sure you sign up with a public adjuster or an attorney. I'd advise you to sign up with Hans right off the bat. Then they can make sure that all the inspections are done, the claim is filed properly, and that you get paid and reimbursed.
And keep in mind, too, when we talk about retail roofing, we talk about insurance claims. The reality is that if your roof is more than as little as 8 years, but often 10 years or certainly 15 years, you're going to have trouble getting new insurance coverage should you want to make a move. We see many times where the insurer will deny a claim for someone and then non-renew them. They'll deny the claim because the roof has non-storm related damage, but it'll be enough damage where the insurer doesn't want to keep the risk. So literally, you may find yourself after a claim denial, the next cycle they may just simply non-renew you. Now, if you got a 15-year-old roof that was doing fine, and you try to get new coverage, you're not going to get new coverage on that, which is why you need to make a move and make a decision with either a public adjuster or someone like myself. Because if you just let that claim denial go, again, you may find yourself in the next handful of months ending up with a non-renewal notice that gives you maybe 30 days to figure out what you need to do to get new coverage. And then you call your agent. He goes, I can't get you any coverage to get a new roof. Hard to get a new roof in 30 days.
Right.
So you may find yourself, again, up against it. If you have a mortgage on the property.
And you may need to. So don't give up at that point.
Yeah.
You do have up to 1 year now to file first notice of claim and 18 months total to supplement to be done. So that's something you could think about, is saying, okay, I think there was, and my roofer told me that there was storm damage related to this date of loss. It was covered under my policy, within there rather. And I got to know, but then now you're in the non-renewal process. Then you can go back to that claims consultant or find that roofing consultant that offers that. Okay, fine. I don't have a lot of money to put down. So show me your finance options.
Right.
Okay, let me get it financed. Let me put the roof on in that 30 days, like you said, or maybe they're selling the house or whatever it is. And you get it done with that timeline. Now, even if you sell your home, it's a claim, guys. It's a claim. It doesn't follow your house or whichever. Like, you can sell your home. You still have a dog in the fight. You can still get your money back. You can get your reimbursement back, especially if you paid it up.
Oh, if you paid it, yes.
If you paid
the money, you're always entitled to reimbursement. And the one thing I will tell you, though, if you don't don't change out the roof, and you then say, well, I'm going to sell the house, and you sell the home, you say, well, I lost money on the house because I gave them a credit. I took money off for the roof because they knew they needed to get a new one. Make sure that's in writing in the sales agreement. If you just say, oh, I chopped $10,000 off to help them with the roof, if it's not in the agreement, then when you continue with your claim, which you're still entitled to keep, even if you haven't replaced the roof and you can only receive actual cash value, which is a bit of a terminology perhaps, again, for another day. But if you're going to give someone a credit for having to replace the roof, please make sure that's in the sales agreement and identified as a credit for roof. Because later when the insurer says, well, what proof do you have? And you go, well, we had a discussion. It's not going to do it. But if it's in the contract, it gives you at least a leg up to try to get that discounted amount back from the insurer.
Right. Nice. Good. And you still have that time. Again, if you can still replace your roof. And if you're within that 1 year time span of that date of loss, and that's what's important to know, the date in which the event occurred, that was a sudden and accidental peril created opening of your roof, and now you have interior damages. That's what maybe brought it up. And then you had a roofer come out, look at your roof, and they say, yes, this is definitely what happened. Based off our experience as a licensed roofing company, we suggest that this storm created the damages. And then you look back in your policy and say, well, I do have coverage for wind or whatever this peril is.
Yep.
So, but I need to make the replacement now. File the claim. Right. This is my suggestion as a homeowner. You file the claim, and then you pay for the claim or pay for the roof and the damages. When that gets taken care of, or you get reimbursed, that plus your interest is what I'm saying. So don't be afraid if you're a homeowner to say, okay, well, especially if everything looks good and if it's a good claim or not. That if you filed a claim before for a roof repair and you never did the repair, and then later on you had more damages.
Oh, boy.
Or something like that, as a homeowner. So anyways, so you have a good valid claims, never happened before, boom, and that's happening. You get the denial. Feel good about saying, okay, you know what? I'm going to finance it. I know I'm going to get my money back. I'm going to get reimbursed. Plus, I'm going to get my interest back. You, as a sales roofing consultant, can state that to a homeowner. I've helped many people out on this same claim, and I'm not saying not use your favorite public adjuster. Public adjusters do run out there and help you as a roofer get different claims on that they would have never known about, and vice versa. You need each other, and that's why I think it's exciting for you to know that if the public adjuster can't get it done, and sometimes they can't, they'll double down on the denial. You do need the lawyer, but what a great relationship to come over to Hans' firm and say, you know what, hey man, I signed them up at 20. I couldn't get it done at that. We have to get an attorney involved. Good news is you're only losing 30%. And I'll work with Hans to do that. And so that's a good number for me. But if I had to pay a public adjuster 20% and then a lawyer 33 or 40%. Dude, at that point, the juice may not be worth the squeeze.
I agree, which is why we want to make sure it remains worth the squeeze by combining those resources and reducing those percentages to try to help people get their house fixed.
That's right. That's a lot of information. It's a lot of stuff that we just threw at you there as a roofing sales consultant. Just a little bit of background stuff too, just so you know, if you're in the state of Florida, it is a 3rd-degree felony to offer something of value, because people were saying, I'll give you $500 or I'll give you a free deductible, no money.
Or TVs are famous for that. TVs, tickets,
the gift cards, cash,
yes.
Anything of value in exchange for them filing a claim against their insurance company for a roof, specifically a roof.
Yes.
Believe it or not.
Interestingly enough, yes.
Yeah. So make sure that, and there are some communication things that you need to have on your flyers that's stating that you are not trying to get them to file a claim in exchange for anything of value.
Right.
So those things have to be stated. Just make sure that as a roofing consultant, you're not offering that. You cannot say, I can waive your deductible. Oh, well, the guy down the street, this other company came down and said they waived your deductible. And what you say to get around, they say, listen, I'm not asking you to give me any money up front. I'm an accredited company. Look at me on Better Business Bureau or whatever it is. I'm the best. That guy says they're going to waive your deductible. That's illegal. I'm trying to tell you, I'm not going to take any money from you right now. I'm going to do everything that you need, and then the payment's going to come minus the deductible, because that's what comes out. It's going to come to you, and then you're going to pay me, and then you're going to fill in the deductible amount. That's it. You're going to have to pay it, but at the end. Now if there's interior damages, that's where you are as a roofer. When you go inside and you look up and you start seeing yellow stains, that's where the negotiation comes in, right? Because you're a roofer, you want the full value for the roof. So let's say the roof is $20,000. But you have $10,000 of interior damage, right? Get with the construction company, or most roofing companies are now roofing and construction, right? So now you can at least estimate it, whether you want to do it or just give the homeowner the money, which usually comes out, right? You say, okay, it's $20,000 for the roof, $10,000 for the damages inside. Well, let's say there's $5,000 of a deductible. Well, you're going to get $25,000, the roofer is. So they're going to take the $20,000, they're going to put the roof on, they're going to kick the $5,000 back to the homeowner and say, I don't do interiors and you're $5,000 short anyways. Right. So they can hire a handyman or whatever they need to do, or supplement that $5,000, which they will, to put them back to pre-loss condition. There you go. And so that way the roofer now has the full amount of that $20,000. That's what I'm getting to. That roofer now, that yellow stain inside is really going to save you for that homeowner that can't afford that deductible, right? Get the roof on and let them save up for the interior if they're missing $5,000 or $1,000. That's a lot of money.
I literally just did that yesterday. I had a client who does have some interior damage but has a roof issue, and it's a pre-suit case, but she came to us kind of late. It's a Hurricane Nicole, Ian/Nicole claim from September and November of 22.
Wow.
And I said, look, I can get you enough money to get your roof fixed. I said, I realize you have interior damage, but unless you replace your roof, you're never fixing the inside because it's always going to be leaking. I said, so it might feel a little empty. I said, but we started with zero. And so at 2 o'clock yesterday, she started with zero money. And by the end of the mediation, took us about an hour and a half, I got her a full roof replacement, less her deductible. I mean, plus her deductible. And she was very happy with it because I said, the interior, you can kind of, piecemeal that to extent or do that over time. I said, you can't replace a roof over time.
Right.
You got to do it in one shot. So we did that very thing you just discussed. And I'm working with the roofer now to get her hopefully a little bit of money back to help get the interior started. But the reality is she needs a roof. The roof's the fundament. The roof's like the foundation of, like everything. You got to have a good one. It's got to be solid. It's got to be watertight. Anything less than that is simply going to allow damage to continue, which your insurer is not going to pay for because they're going to say, now it's your fault. You failed to mitigate your damage.
That's right. But they need to pay you so you can actually pay other vendors to do what they need to do so more damage doesn't occur.
Right.
So, anyways, it's a cycle. It's a whole circular cycle. So that's the one thing I want you to take away from this. If you're a roofing consultant, if you're sales, just to have options and ready to be or ready to kind of like swerve either way that this can go. Because there are folks that will say, you know what, I don't want to fight with my insurance. I haven't made a claim in 30 years. I don't want to start today. Here, let me go ahead and pay you cash. Okay, cool. That's the best value, right? You have a good warranty, good service company, good name backing you. Then you have the second option, which is, again, if there was a storm or there's some storm related damages, homeowner can't afford it, but they need a new roof. But now you have finance options, or you're saying, hey, listen, I have this much down, or this in-house options to this third-party finance options. Oh, and by the way, I have this great law firm that if we sign up with, that we can get your claim maybe expedited. We don't know. It depends, right?
Sure.
Impossible.
Always does.
That we can get this through and as quickly as possible, and we can get you reimbursed for any potential interests that you may have it afforded during this time. I know you can't afford it, over to you may not be able to afford anything at all. Let me TARP it. That's option number 3. Let me TARP it, and we'll get the claim filing for you through an attorney or a public adjuster. So it's a nice, smooth claim. A homeowner, I'm telling you, if you're not experienced, you don't want to do it on your own. Get the professionals, have them help you as far as they can, and at that point, make a decision. Do we want to file suit and wait? Do we want to file suit? And at that point, you know what your chances are, because your attorney's not going to file suit unless it's a good claim.
Yep.
And you have positive traction, a good date of loss, a good package from the beginning, submitted to your insurance company. All those things are good. Then go ahead and put the roof on. Maybe you want to get it financed, or you're going to wait it out till the end, till insurance proceeds come, and then you get it done. And the roofer can TARP it for you in the meantime. So those 3 options: pay me retail, pay me cash right now. I'll do a best job for you. Number 2 is let's get you financed. Let's get you put a roof on now. File the insurance claim and get reimbursed of any cost and any finance charges that come with it. Option 3 is we'll TARP it for you and do some emergency repairs as a roofing company. We'll get the folks involved for the claims process, a public adjuster and an attorney. We'll wait for the money to come, and then we'll get you satisfied. And either way, there's great options for a homeowner.
That's great. I think from closing, from my perspective, I have a friend who owns a roofing company, and he said, you know what I am? I'm a customer service organization who happens to do roofing. And that's really been his focus, is really improving the quality of the communication with you. You should hear from the roofer. You should not, as a consumer, go months without any communication. And that's one thing he's really put into place is, look, we're about contact. We're about staying in touch with people. So as a roofer, be a customer service organization that happens to be in the roofing business.
That's great. Always put the customer first, and everything else will follow. It's always what we believe, man. All right, this is good stuff. If you're a roofing consultant, I hope you got some good info from this. Just to know that there are fines in the state of Florida. They really put the legislature on notice in 2021. The insurers did and said that roofing, guys, bad. Roof, bad. And now they put in all these laws that says that you can't solicit, you can't tell a homeowner of their basic rights of filing a claim, and that there's damages to their roof, and that it could be reimbursed under their policy of insurance. And that's a big portion of what the roofers do. What they call the re-roof jobs.
Right.
There's plenty of retail out there, people that have money in hand and just want the best price and the best product. And then there's the folks out there that need the help of the professionals, that don't know where to go, what to do, who to have involved. And if a roofing company comes with, the engineering company and the law firm and everything ready to go, then they're going to get that claim done a lot faster if they're ready to go.
Yep.
So that's my advice anyways for you, roofing consultants. Get with your favorite public adjuster, the attorneys, the finance programs, and get the contracts right. Direction to pay, 90-day net terms. You have a letter of protection that'll make sure that you're on a settlement statement if you're a contractor, which is great. You want to make sure your name is on it. And it's something that you want to make sure, because if it's like the old contingency agreements, you're really not in any place when the insurance proceeds come in 2 years. The homeowner probably forgot your name, don't even know who you are, and the proceeds are only in the homeowner's name. Now, if you have a letter of protection and then a claim settles 2 years later, well, guess what, roofer? Your name is going to be on that settlement proceeds, so you have to sign the check as well. So that means you're going to get the job. So that's another reason to make sure you contract right as well. If it's a re-roof job, make sure it's a service authorization, direction to pay, 90-day net terms to the homeowner, and then it says if you need more time than 90 days because your insurance carrier denied you, well, here's a letter of protection that you're going to sign up right now that says my name will be on the settlement proceeds. Boom. File suit with Hans Kennon here with Kennon Law Group, and you will then make sure that you are on the settlement proceeds when it settles 2 years later down the road.
Yep, you will.
I'm telling you. And that's what most roofers are telling me now. It's like, oh man, the insurance process, I don't like it because, the insured has to file suit in their name. And then when the money comes, they forgot me. I'm not even a blip on their radar 2 years later, a year later. So at this point you are. So if you have any questions on that, go to our website, on my nonprofit website, www.raflorida.org. We offer contracts for restoration folks, roofers, and those types of professionals. If you join that organization, Hans is a part of that as well too. And the legal committee has written many of these types of contracts and have given some insight on them. So we want to make sure that the entire industry is using the same things, saying the same things as well. All right, that's what we have for you today on our show. Raising the roof on sales tactics for you as the roofing consultant. So I hope you learned some stuff today, and we'll talk to you guys next time on Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell.